Hello, and welcome everyone for the last Oxygen live event of 2025. On camera, you can see me and my guest for today, our featured presenter, my colleague Christian Talo, product manager. Hi, Christian, product manager for Content Fusion. And why is he here? Because today we'll take an in-depth look at the upcoming cloud version of Oxygen Content Fusion, a product that is designed to streamline collaborative technical documentation from authoring and reviews to publication and delivery within a SaaS environment. So let's dive into the important part of our webinar. A little bit of information. The webinar is being recorded, so the full recording will be made available in the following days, along with Christian's presentation slides full of valuable information for you. And of course, the recording will be also uploaded on our YouTube channel, Oxygen XML, where you can find a huge library of tutorials and recordings from our live events. We also encourage you to ask us questions throughout this live session, because we have a huge team of our colleagues helping us with the answers for your questions arriving in real time. So don't hesitate to ask us anything at any point of this today's live session. So this wraps up the introduction from my side, and now I'm pleased to again introduce Christian Talo, our featured presenter.
Hello everyone. What I'm presenting you today is an upcoming product, is the cloud version of Content Fusion, a product that you might already know. In today's agenda, I will first start with an overview of Content Fusion Cloud. I will tell you how organizations are modeled in this cloud deployment. I will tell you a bit how we ensure cloud security and how it relates to the enterprise version of Content Fusion. Then I will show you a little bit what are some use cases for Oxygen Content Fusion Cloud. First of them is a flow of end-to-end publishing, where you start from basically zero to published web help in a short time. Then I will show you how we evolved the integration with Oxygen XML Editor and our AI-ready delivery platform. And at the end, I will show you the next steps and when you can get your hands on this new product. First of all, to show you in a single picture how this cloud version relates to the enterprise version is like this. So in the enterprise, you basically use the Content Fusion installation kit and you install it inside the firewall of your company in an internal network. While in the cloud, you basically have a virtual sandbox for each organization. Now, what is an organization? So we designed organizations to map to a company or to an NGO or to a government organization and so on. And it is an isolated namespace for users and for content. For example, all the user accounts live inside one organization. This model is more similar to cloud applications, that is to applications that are publicly available, like GitHub and OpenAI and so on. For example, in GitHub, you can have a private account and then join several organizations. For us, first of all, we expect that most people will have only one organization because most people have only one workplace. But there are cases where you want to work in multiple organizations, and in this case, a single person will open different accounts in different organizations. So there is no sharing between organizations. Okay. So I created a slide to compare a bit how organizations are isolated in the enterprise version and in the cloud version. So first of all, each organization has its own domain name, its own URL. And so if you go to https://myorganization.fusion.oxygenxml.com, then you cannot go by mistake to the sandbox of another organization. As I said, the users are isolated between organizations, the content is isolated, security configurations. For example, each company can configure its own single sign-on provider. The only difference is that in the cloud, we have a virtual sandbox around the organization resources, while in the enterprise version, there is a physical sandbox around the organization resources. There are also some very important advantages from a security point of view with this cloud service. First of all, in the enterprise version, people need a system administrator to run the Content Fusion server. And yeah, we installed a lot of Content Fusion deployments and we got very good at it. And with this Content Fusion Cloud, we are able to apply security patches faster than any system administrator. We create regular backups and test recovery procedures, which are things that are sometimes overlooked by companies that install their own on-premise products. We are also ISO 27001, and so we perform regular security audits across our organization and secure development lifecycle and so on. This service is continuously monitored and we react to unusual activity, which another system administrator might not have the resources to do. And since we have a very specific deployment, we are also able to leverage cloud provider specific infrastructure to add additional protection layers. Content Fusion organization has can configure several things like authentication providers. So for trial purposes, you might want to activate Google and GitHub login just to have some colleagues easily enter your organization. While for a production setting, you can configure your enterprise single sign-on system. There is also an internal firewall where you configure which hosts does the editor or the publishing services connect. For example, in order to bring images inside the PDF that you are going to publish. We also have some option to disable any feature that is powered by AI, because some companies have compliance requirements. So at this point, I want to show you an example on how an organization can be set up. So first of all, you have to choose the organization ID. And this ID will be part of the URL that is associated with your organization. So once I chose this organization name, I can click continue. And then I have to create my administrator account. So I have to agree with the terms and conditions. I have to, and I will use Google for sign in with Google in order to get started faster. Okay, so I agree with this. And now the organization was created, and I can go to my profile here and go to manage organization. And here I have several pages. One of them can be used to invite my colleagues to the organization. For example, I can go here and say Mihai Quang.sing.ro. I invite him as an author, and now he appears here with a pending invitation. Here there are two types of roles. First of all is the user role, which can be author, which is designed for technical writers and subject matter experts, which, as the name implies, is for subject matter experts. And then is an organization level role, which can be a regular member or an administrator. The administrator has access to this interface. This is the subscription page where you can, so first, when you start using Content Fusion, it starts with a trial, and then you are able to buy a subscription when the trial ends. And here it says how much of your license you have used. Here you can configure authentication mechanisms. For example, you can enable or disable Google and GitHub. You can use a custom single sign-on provider. You can mark some email domains as trusted so that everyone that signs up with an email from that domain will be allocated a license. There is also this internal firewall where you can configure the trusted hosts. Let's say my digital assets management.mycompany.com. And I can also configure a display name for this organization. And I can disable here AI-powered features if my company doesn't, my company policy does not allow it. Yes, so that's basically how easy it is to create an organization. Okay. A few words about the licensing mechanism. Basically, the license will be purchased per organization. We will have several packages which include a base price that covers some usage limits like storage space for sources and published outputs, build workers, and so on. And then you will be able to purchase extra capacity once you reach for example, the storage limit. And there are also author seats and subject matter expert seats. This type of seats are also available in the enterprise version. And there are some differences. For example, here in the cloud, the SMEs licenses are user-based. So you have to purchase a certain number of licenses, and then from that pool you can allocate the licenses to subject matter experts. Only authors can use Oxygen XML Editor because we thought that is more natural this way, because authors are technical writers and they have Oxygen XML Editor, while subject matter experts usually don't have Oxygen XML Editor. The AI features in the enterprise version work with a custom API key, while in the cloud work with the AI positron service, which is a separate service also from Oxygen. Here in the cloud, you can only use the default frameworks, and if you want to connect Content Fusion Cloud to some internal services, you might need to add firewall exceptions, because yeah, they have to communicate. Now I want to run a quick poll. My colleague Aline will help me starting the poll. So I was curious, what cloud services do you use for technical documentation, like storage servers, AI providers, quality checkers, build servers, or portals, or help center platforms? We are still collecting responses. Okay. Yeah, we closed the poll. So most of the people use storage servers and portals or help center platforms, and only around 10% use CI/CD build servers, and no one uses AI providers like OpenAI. Okay. Yeah, so the next part of the presentation, I wanted to show you how Content Fusion Cloud can be used to implement end-to-end publishing. So the challenge that we wanted to solve is how to get from 0 to a published web help in 10 minutes. Actually, 0 is that means that I have 0 documentation, but I have some inputs from engineering and product manager, and I try to simulate a real use case, for example, where you can ask engineers to give you a list of all the UI screens in a software application, and what is available on each screen, and screenshots for that. And from the product manager, you can get the product requirements document. And in 10 minutes, we want to set up the project, use AI Positron to create the first draft and publish it as web help. So the first step is to gather the inputs. For this, I used a small application that I developed several months ago, a clinical document editor, which works like this. So users can sign up and manage. So it's designed for doctors. Doctors can sign up and manage their patients, and then they can create two types of documents, which is a consultation sheet or a medical letter, and by filling a form, and then they could print the result in a standard format, which is required by the government. Okay, so this application started from a project requirement document that I already have, and then I simulated the engineering input by asking a coding assistant to generate a markdown file with all the UI screens and describe which actions can the user perform in each screen. And this took about 3 minutes to generate, and then create screenshots for each section, which took 17 minutes. So this is my input. And then I will first outline the steps that I will follow, and then I will actually run the demo. So first of all, I need to set up the project and add the input in a project, in a folder inside the project, just that Positron can work with these files. Then I will instruct Positron to create a first draft by providing the files that I talked about earlier as a context, and then ask some specific instructions, like make sure to cover the 3 most important workflows. And here the interesting thing is that it is able to map like reference documentation that describes each screen to workflows. And I intentionally made a very poor draft of documentation by using a simple prompt just to make sure it fits in 10 minutes. After the positron creates a data map and some topics, I can create a publication. Then I will need to validate it and maybe polish it a bit, and then commit. And the last step is to create a deliverable, which is a webpair publication. I configure it to use a custom logo and deploy it to Content Fusion Docs web platform, which is a companion platform for Content Fusion Cloud. So again, it is demo time. So I can go here to the projects view. I can create a new project from a template. Let's say I call it Clinical Document Editor. Okay, now here is my empty project. I can go to the files view and create a new folder, call it work in progress. Here I can start to add my inputs. So first of all, the screenshots, I can drag and drop them and they are uploaded. Then I will create a new file, which is a topic. I call it PRD. I open this file in a text editor and I paste it here in Content Fusion. All the markdown content is automatically converted to data when pasted. Then I create another file, which is also a data topic with UI screens. Here I will paste the other inputs that came from the chatbot. And here, as you can see, all the screens are listed. So here is the sign-in form, the sign-up form, the patient list, and so on. And now I need to connect to Oxygen AI Positron because it is a separate service. Okay, so I'm not connected to my account. I need to open again the prompts that I included in the slides so that I don't have to type it during the demo. An important thing is that now I need to add some context to the AI agent in order to let it create the documentation. Okay, so I added these two files. I select here the data agent mode and I let it work. Yeah, so after that, I would expect it to create a list of to create a set of topics and a data map if everything goes well. Meanwhile, I can take all the input files and commit them to the Git repository. And let's see what AI is doing. So it went on and created a lot of documents. I can, if I don't like what it did, I can always roll back. Okay, and now it created a data map, like clinical doc editor.data map, and a set of files. What we need to do now is to create a publication from this data map. I create a publication from an existing data map. I use here clinical document editor. I can choose the location of the data map. A publication is basically a pair of a data map and possibly a data val. And I create it. And now here I can see the outline that it created. So it created the introduction, getting started managing patients, and then covered 3 workflows, and so on. Now we need to validate the content in order to make sure that the AI didn't break anything. And this will also take a bit to it goes through all the topics and checks whether crosslinks are correct and whether there are any validation issues. So here what I see is that all the screenshots are not found, which I can investigate here. So all the topics are in the root folder and the screenshots are in the .work in progress folder. So I can drag and drop the screenshots at the top level. And now, for example, when I open this topic, the screenshot will resolve correctly. So some of the problems are resolved. I can start to another validation. And let's see what remains. So there are some problems here. So it says that the image element is not allowed, and there are 5 instances. What we can do now is start another chat here and ask Positron to fix validation problems, and we can do this for each of the documents. Okay, let's copy everything, paste, and no, let's try like this. Go to edit XML source, paste, switch to author mode, and now everything is valid. Okay, so now let's commit everything. Let's say first draft. And now try to go to the publishing step. So now we have a publication and we need to create a deliverable. Let's click here, give this a name, which is a clinical documents editor. I can choose the publication on which this deliverable is based. Its type is configured to web help. And then I need to go to customize the publishing template such that I can use my own logo. So here I click the duplicate and edit, and I can choose some name like branded output. I duplicate the default template, and now it will be opened in edit mode. Here there are a lot of things that I can customize. I will only want to customize the logo, like to input a logo here. So let's go to desktop, CF Cloud, and use this small logo image and click finish. Okay, now I will choose the template, and the last step is to choose where I want to deploy the output, and I will choose the Content Fusion Docs web platform and click save. Okay, and now I have my deliverable configured. It's configured to deploy to Content Fusion Docs web platform, and then I only need to press build so that it can start to generate the web help. I didn't want to take the time to fix all the validation problems that Positron generated, and I hope that they will not break the build, because remember I have to fit everything in 10 minutes. Okay, so now it's uploading the output to Content Fusion Docs platform, and at some point we will receive a link where we can see everything. Okay, so we can see the logo, we can see all the chapters that it inserted. The files are in here. It's used a list to present the steps of the workflow and so on. So I think I didn't set the timer, but I think it was around 10 minutes to start from zero to a published web help. Okay, so now let's move to the Oxygen XML Editor integration. So one way to integrate Content Fusion with Oxygen XML Editor is to use an external Git repository, and to have both Oxygen XML Editor and Content Fusion connect to the same Git repository, which is the source of truth. This is an approach that we had for some time, and I will try to show you how it works. So first of all, I will go here. So here I have a copy of the Oxygen user guide. So my project, unlike the project that I had here for Clinical Documents Editor, this project is linked to a Git repository. So the source of truth for the content is inside this Git repository. If I make any change in this repository, it will automatically be reflected in Content Fusion. So how it works here is that I can open, for example, the web author manual in Content Fusion, go to the feature matrix. Let's say I delete a table row, and then I commit the changes to the Git repository. Okay, and then I already see the commit here on GitHub, and in Oxygen XML Editor, I have configured the Git client, and here I see that there is one incoming commit, which says delete some row, and I can pull it in my working copy. So basically, I work as with two separate Git clients. When I push from one of them, I have to synchronize from the other one. And since we also added this possibility to have a project which is not backed by a Git repository, so that is much simpler to get started with, we also need a configuration in which Oxygen XML Editor doesn't connect directly to the Git repository. It connects to Content Fusion, and then Content Fusion might connect to a Git repository if you decide to. For example, here I created this project, and I don't have a link to Git repository. I can add one later when I want to, but at the beginning I don't have one. And to implement this connection strategy in which Oxygen connects to Content Fusion, we added another, so the plugin, the Content Fusion plugin for Oxygen XML Editor was updated to include another side view, which is called Content Fusion Projects. This side view can now see all my projects. For example, this Oxygen user guide can choose on which branch I want to work on, and I can see the files here. So here I can see for example, the user manual.datamap that I have already opened in here. And now that I can access these files from Oxygen XML Editor, I can do some interesting and more advanced operations on these files. For example, this is an upgrading topic which is implemented as a data topic, but if we look closer, it looks very similar. So it would have been more suitable to be a data task. So what we can do is to use an advanced refactoring operation from Oxygen XML Editor, which converts the current topic to a task. And I can click here, finish, and now it is a task, and it converted all the elements to the correct task element. Another interesting use case is to run batch operations. For example, here I can choose spell checking files and spell check the entire data map hierarchy. And now it started to detect problems. For example, some of them are not real problems, but some of them might actually be problems. Yeah, so it picked up a lot of options, but I think now I will stop it because it scans the user manual.data map, and I want to scan Oxygen XML web author, the current map. So if I go here again, I click spell checking files and I say entire data map hierarchy, it might show some interesting things. Yeah. Yeah, most of them are false positives, but at least I can go through all of them and make sure that nothing important slipped through. Okay, I will stop the process. And here in Oxygen XML Editor, it says that I have one change, and I need to, so it's the update procedure, which I converted to a task, and here I need to commit it. Currently, in order to commit, you have to go to the web browser. It says that there is one change made by you, which is the update procedure. You can inspect the changes here. It's basically most of the topic, but yeah, you can see that task is the replacement of topic, and then task body instead of body, and so on. And you decide that everything looks great and commit. Okay. Now, I wanted to tell you more about the publishing platform that I used before. So I told you about Content Fusion Docs web platform. So this is a companion platform for Oxygen Content Fusion Cloud that we built recently. And it uses a production-grade serving infrastructures. When you deploy a new version of the content, for example, if you fix a mistake, it implements atomic updates, so you don't have to schedule updates when no one is looking at your documentation, as you do, for example, if you use some homegrown platform. And it offers a lot of AI features for the published web help. For example, here is the web help that I already published, and by default, it has this Markdown menu, which has two actions: copy as Markdown or view as Markdown. And if you use them, you can take, for example, one topic and paste it in an AI chatbot. It also has in the root of the web help, it has an llms.txt file, which is basically a table of contents for the documentation. And this is very agent friendly because an agent can read like an overview of the documentation and then decide which of the specific topics to read to accomplish its goal. So this is one interesting thing that we added. Another one is that the content is MCP ready. This is a feature that we plan to add in the platform by default. Meanwhile, we created an open source project which converts any published web help to an MCP project, and I configured it in Claude. So here, in the connectors view, I have the Oxygen XML Editor docs, which is an MCP server which runs over Oxygen XML Editor documentation, which is served from our website. And with this MCP server enabled, I was able to ask the documentation of Oxygen XML Editor some question that requires it to use information from multiple topics in order to answer. So I asked it. I said that I have the Oxygen feedback fragment. So Oxygen feedback is our chatbot, and in order to embed it in a documentation, you have to paste a small HTML fragment in all the pages where you want it to be embedded. So I have this fragment, and then I want to configure a published web help to include the Oxygen feedback chatbot by modifying the publishing template. And yeah, so first it tries to understand what's up with Oxygen feedback. It runs a query, and then it uses the semantic search provided by web help to show some results. Then it decides to read some more about the feedback system. Then it searches about the publishing templates and the web help fragment feedback, and then decides to read the publishing template structure from the user guide, and at the end it decides to read about how to configure additional parameters to web help. And at the end it gives me like two solutions for this problem. One is by using a parameter, and one is by using an HTML fragment. So basically, if you have the documentation in web help, you can have Claude help you with answering your clients. And another AI feature is that you can integrate in the published output Oxygen feedback, and I will show you how it works. So here I have this web help published, and I also created an organization on Oxygen feedback, which is another service. Here I have to create a site which is called clinical document editor. I will go here with the defaults. I click continue to create a new version. It asks me to provide the base URL. The base URL now is this one. It's the base URL of the web help. Here I enable content indexing, and it has a lot of interesting features. So it first of all provides a semantic search, which is better than a keyword-based search, because people can ask questions using their own language, not the exact terms that you have in the documentation. Here I can click to enable the AI assistant, and here to enable AI enhanced search summaries. So after it shows the search results to the user, it also creates a summary, an AI enhanced summary, similar to what Google does. Okay, so I click continue, and now I get this this fragment that I need to add to my content. So I go here. In my project, I go to the templates folder, and I try to do exactly what Claude told me to do. So I go to the styles.opt, which is the publishing template, And here I need to add this fragment. So let's paste it here and say that is feedback install.html. Okay, I saved this file, and now I need to also create this feedback install file. I can go here, choose HTML, say feedback install. I think there was a typo. Yeah, and I go to the text mode, delete everything, and then paste this fragment that I have over here. So basically now in the configuration of my web help publishing template, I instruct it to use the feedback install.xhtml as a fragment embedded in each page. And that should be enough. Now I only need to commit these changes, say add feedback. Now that everything is committed, I can go to the deliverables view and build the clinical document editor again in order to build with this feedback fragment installed. Okay, maybe I made a mistake. Let's try to look at the server log. It seems there is a problem in the publishing template. Let's see, it's not highlighted here. So feedback install.xhtml. Let me show you maybe another how I did in when I was rehearsing for the webinar. So here it's a configuration that works. Maybe. No, I don't have it here. Yeah, so for this one, I think you have to take my word that it works, or I can at least try the other approach that was presented here. So I can try to. Oh, I think yeah, and I think I see the problem. I inserted the web help element inside the web help element. Yeah, so I can save it, fix error, go to deliverables, and try to build again. And let's hope that it works this time. Fingers crossed. Yeah, so it definitely went past that error. Yeah, we need to wait. Okay, it took 41 seconds to publish and upload everything. Now it's already uploading the output, and we will be able to see it anytime now. Okay, so now we just need to refresh this page and maybe go to managing patients. And as you can see, this AI assistant widget appeared here. I can ask here what type of documents are supported. And oh, I think I need to repeat the question here. Oh, and yes, so the AI assisted summary was also presented here. So it correctly identified that there are consultation sheets, medical letters, and monitoring sheets. So it's definitely better than going through each of these search results and looking for the supported documents. Okay, now after I showed you how our publishing platform works, I want to ask my colleague Aline to help me run another poll, which asks which of the following are important for your published output. You can check many of them. So first of all is custom interactive elements like code sandboxes or simulators, then a portal that aggregates multiple related publications, chatbot integration, MCP support for enterprise AI systems, or if you have other things that are more important, please elaborate in the questions window. We are still collecting responses. Okay, so it seems that a portal that aggregates multiple related publications was the winner with around 70%, and and chatbot, MCP, and others are the second place with a tie about 30%. Well, that means that we will add portals to our publishing platform next. Thanks for the feedback. And now that I showed you how Oxygen Content Fusion Cloud works, you may be wondering how you can get your hands on it. So here I showed you the fusionoxygenxml.com webpage, which is currently hosting the new cloud server only for our organization from our company. So and for you will see the old demo server that was available for like several years. The first step that we made is that the old demo server was moved to fusion-demo.oxygenxml.com. If you access right now fusion-oxygenxml.com, it will redirect you to this address, and you can still work with your content there for a couple of months. And we plan to release Oxygen Content Fusion Cloud at the beginning of the next year. And if you want to have an early access to this new service, we opened a wait list that I linked here. It will be available in the slides tomorrow, and it will also be included in the follow-up email that we send after the webinar. Yeah, so this concludes my presentation. Thank you for attending, and we still have some time to answer some questions.
Thank you so much, Christy, for your informative presentation. It was short, but extremely dynamic and packed, full of the most important information that concerns the cloud version, the upcoming cloud version of Oxygen Content Fusion. So let's open up our cameras again to see each other, and so the audience can see us. And let's go through the list of questions. I will read them in the order that they arrived in. So how easy it is to implement Okta sign-in?
It's very straightforward. For example, if you go to manage organization, authentication, you basically have to copy paste several fields, and we have documentation for them. For example, for Okta, we have the exact values that are expected and so on. So yeah, this is something very simple.
Thank you. Let's go to our next question asked by Tommy. Just a second. Okay. So what is the procedure for assigning SME licenses, and how straightforward is it to reassign them to different individuals?
So what you can do, so you have a SME seats count. You can change the role of a person here, and if you want a person to release a license, you can just mark them as inactive, and then the license is released. And you can now take another member and, for example, allocate the subject matter expert license. So it's simple.
Thank you. Just a quick mention. Christy told you about the early access waiting list. I added the link into the chat window of the GoToWebinar platform, so everyone can access it right now. And we will also send you the link to the form to subscribe to the waiting list in the follow-up email of this webinar, again with the link to the recording of today's live presentation. Okay, how smooth and easy was the integration with Oxygen, and which Oxygen APIs did you actually use?
This sounds like a technical question. So we basically use the URL stream handler API, which configures an URL scheme that can be used to access any file from Content Fusion. I think if the asker is interested in more details, we can talk more about over the emails to, yeah, because yeah, the technical discussion might not be suitable for everyone in the audience.
Of course. Okay, let's go to the next question. Is an author or SME reviewer license required to view document content, or can anyone log in and read it with only SME license holders be able to add review comments?
The only thing that is open without a license is the published output. The published output currently doesn't have any authentication, so it's like your public website holding the public documentation. If you work on a review task, then you need a SME license.
This is an interesting question. So what you presented is a web author with a web dev server?
No. Content Fusion uses its own storage implementation, which is more advanced than a web dev server because it keeps a version history. It supports multiple branches, which are copies of the content and so on. But Content Fusion uses the same technology that we use in Oxygen XML Web Author.
Are all the features that we saw here part of the cloud version for Content Fusion?
Yes. Yeah. That's what I presented.
Yes, again, I remind everyone that this version is available internally in our company, but by using the link in the chat window, you can go to the form to subscribe to the early access list. The product will be made available early at the beginning of next year, probably in January. Can I do the same things like feedback plus the chatbot on pure Oxygen XML without Content Fusion and publish such site on ordinary HTML files via FTP? This is again a very technical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the steps that I did here in Content Fusion can be replicated. All the steps for integrated feedback can be replicated only with Oxygen XML Editor. We plan to make a tighter integration between Oxygen feedback and Oxygen Content Fusion. So, for example, you just press like add the checkbox and say I want a chatbot on my web help and everything happens. But right now, the current state, all that I presented is you can replicate it without Content Fusion.
Again, a little bit of confusion was made because someone from our audience asks us, does the pricing info on our the pricing page include the web author component, or does this pricing applies only to the Content Fusion platform? And I think he was referring to the enterprise version of Content Fusion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both the cloud version and the enterprise version of Content Fusion actually bundle bundled technology that is also available in other products. So, for example, the web-based XML editor is also available as Oxygen XML Web Author product. But if you use the same technology in Oxygen XML Web Author product, you don't get the user management that is available in Content Fusion, the review task support and the project support and so on. And this also applies for other parts like the publishing engine that we also sell separately, but in Content Fusion it's included. So basically, if you buy a Content Fusion license, you don't need to buy license for these products. The only thing that you have to purchase separately is a license for Oxygen XML Editor, only if you decide that you want to use it. If you don't need very powerful tools like refactoring and schema editing and so on, you don't need an Oxygen XML Editor license.
Ruth asks us a question from the perspective of a writer using the tool. Aside from cloud versus on-site hosting, what are the key differences between Content Fusion Cloud and the current Content Fusion available?
Mm-hmm. I tried to summarize some of them in one of my slides. So one thing is that in the on-premise version, you can access AI Positron with your API key from OpenAI, while in the cloud you use API Positron service. In the cloud, you have this Content Fusion Docs Web platform included, while in the enterprise you have to have your own publishing platform. And yeah, for example, the feedback integration that I showed now can be also replicated in the enterprise version. But if we decide to implement a tighter integration between the two services, we might only make it available in the cloud version. Another thing is that we expect to have more frequent releases for the cloud version, and for the enterprise version to have between 2 and 4 releases every year.
What are the security implications of using Oxygen Content Fusion Cloud Edition versus the Enterprise Edition for organizations that are sensitive to intellectual property leakage or are not comfortable sharing internal documentation and pre-GA engineering information externally?
One implication is that your content is stored on the Content Fusion Cloud web servers, and we take as I mentioned in one of my slides, we have a lot of security controls in place to make sure that your intellectual property is still safe. But we understand that some companies have strong policies around content and cloud and storing it in cloud. So we also keep the Content Fusion Enterprise version for these use cases.
The on-premise version of Content Fusion.
Yeah.
So another question that just arrived, does AI Positron come built in with the Content Fusion license?
Oxygen Positron is so in the Content Fusion Enterprise, you get the AI Positron plugin is included in the license, but you have to configure it with an API key. So you pay for the AI usage separately. You pay directly to the AI provider. In the cloud version of Content Fusion, you get AI support through the AI Positron service, which is another cloud service that is offered by Oxygen that needs a separate license, and you pay for AI usage through the AI Positron service. So that's the difference.
So I think that this is the last question that we have. We will go through the list of questions again at the end of this webinar. And if we didn't manage to answer it properly, we will return with an answer by mail. Also, if you feel that you need to provide us feedback or you have any more follow-up questions about today's presentation, please write us an email at support@oxygenxml.com. Okay, now let me take back control to share my screen quickly. Because as I already mentioned, this event was the last of our 2025, but we have already scheduled another webinar for the year to come, Vibe Authoring with Oxygen AI Positron 8, live presentation that will let us dive into the world of Vibe authoring and discover how the latest release of Oxygen AI Positron makes it more powerful and efficient than ever. It will be presented by Sorin Carbonaro, and in this session, he will show you how Positron 8 has the capabilities to enable richer, more context-aware collaboration with AI, while you retain full editorial control and consistency. We'll also walk you through real-world scenarios that illustrate how to embed your vibe into structured content. So with this being said, I want to give a big thank you to everyone that joined us today and that remained with us until the very end of this session. A big thank you to Christian Talot. Christian, if you have anything else to add or to tell to our audience.
No, just look for the follow-up email and make sure to subscribe to the waitlist.
Perfect. So make sure to do that. And again, a big thank you to our team that managed to answer to the majority of your questions that arrived in real time behind the scenes. With this being said, it's time for us to say goodbye. Happy holidays. Have a great new year, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.